Really proud of our guys. That was a tough win against a really good team that came out guns blazing like many teams, the last X amount of teams have. I think they were 5 for 5 from three. They scored 20 points in the first 4.5 minutes, and then I think we held them to 56 the last 35.5 minutes. So, but credit them. Ginyard, Williams are really hard to handle. Their interior game with Dixon and Neckis, and man, they're just hard to guard. Their size, athleticism, guard play was terrific. Thought our fight was really good. Got down, stayed the course, hung in there. Thought we competed. We worked our way back in the first half, cut it to 2 at halftime, and then second half I really thought we were in control, and then we got a little loose there. Going in the under 4 media, and I called the timeout, and I think we're up 2 at that point. We come out and they execute a play for Trey, bangs a 3. We get a stop, ATO. Call a play for Trey, bangs a 3, and that gave us separation, closed the game on a 15-2 run, and had a lot of guys contribute. I thought obviously Robbie shot making the second half. I thought Paulo Tieno was great. I thought the 2 big lineup was terrific for us. Trey shot making late, but everybody up and down. Q plays 33 minutes with no turnovers. Got downhill. He was awesome for us. So there was a lot of guys. Brady-ish. He'd make a couple threes. Up and down the roster, guys touching the game, impacting the game in a major way. DB sticks a couple threes as well. So it's a good team win, and get a chance to get a day off tomorrow, and then hopefully have a chance to compete for a championship on Wednesday night.
See more of the physicality and more of the things you've wanted to see?
I thought so. I thought we brought more physicality to the game. I think, talked about, bringing the 2 bigs, in and playing those guys together. I thought Paul was awesome tonight, and he and Robbie have developed a pretty good, synergy with them. And like Paul's going to play with physicality. He drives me crazy sometimes, with other stuff, but he may not always catch the ball or other things. But he plays an incredible effort and energy and toughness, and that's what this team needed. And I thought we had some guys starting the game that, didn't do those things, and that's we needed it. Paul brought it. I was going to play him more anyway. I didn't know we were going to play him 28 minutes, but I knew he was going to play more minutes.
But did you went with him in the second half largely because of the physical nature he can bring, or was it in place of Amari because Amari wasn't bringing it? Or?
Yeah, I felt like, end of the day, that gave us the best chance to win. That's what my job is to give us the best chance to win. And, I thought starting Paul in the second half, I thought he gave us good minutes the first half. His physicality was there. I gave Amari 2 shifts in the first half. I didn't feel like, it was great. And so, he just didn't put him back in. So doesn't have any bearing on, Wednesday, but certainly for this game in a 1-game window, that's my job is to make those decisions that I think give us the best chance to win. And I thought Paul, the way he played and the way our team, I think he was plus 24 when he was out there. He was awesome. It was pretty obvious that he was helping to drive winning in a lot of different ways on both ends of the floor.
Can you talk about the athleticism displayed by Robbie tonight? I know you believed in his 3-point shooting, but he was even elaborating about his athleticism.
Yeah, I don't know. I always say, Robbie's he's deceptively fast. People think he's 1 step slow and he's really 2. And so it really throws you off when somebody's that slow. But he had a couple monster threes, and some of those actually probably was one of the more athletic plays I've ever seen him make, where he did the little spin at the end and managed to not fall down when he did it. So it was pretty impressive. He was awesome. He was awesome. He wasn't great in the first half. He was very pedestrian in the first half, but I think he scores 21 in the second half, makes some huge threes, which he that created the separation. And then we got up, and then credit to them, they punched back, and that's competition. People get frustrated, but like when you're playing high level competition, it's usually imperfect. You don't just go out and just usually dominate from tip to buzzer with no response from the opponent. They're going to hit, and you got to hit back. And they threw a big punch there to cut it to 2, and I thought our guys were awesome. And we call money time. That last 4.5 minutes executing. They come out, execute 2 great plays, get two good looks for Trey, and and close with free throws, and our defense really steadied. They had scored 2 points in the last, 4:20, whenever I called the timeout. So they were awesome down the stretch, and again, so many guys contributing, but Robbie was right in the heart of it, as he always is, 23, 7, 7, even when he messes up, he's hard to get on. He misses a free throw, box out. I'm trying to yell at him, and before I can even say anything, he's like, "That was my bad," Then he screws up and gets Paul dunked on, and still was before he's like, "That's 4 points I've given up." That's what he told me. So he knows before I can't even say anything to him anymore.
You've seen Robbie do a lot of things, but in that stretch where he scores 15 straight points.
Was it 15 straight? I didn't realize that. Yeah, I mean, I knew it was a lot. He was awesome.
3 twos.
Yeah, he was awesome. No, he's incredible. I mean, he's been over the 4 years, just remarkable. I think, you said to look it up, I think that's probably his 100th win in 4 years. I think it is. I might be off on that, but I don't think I am. Yeah, 100. So 100, quick math. So 100 wins in less than 4 years of college basketball. I said this the other day, he's, in my opinion, he's helped change the trajectory of 2 different programs. When you look at what he did at Indiana State and what he's done here. And that's the signature of individual greatness. If you play in a team sport, and if you play golf or tennis, it's, you can just showcase it. But, the signature of individual greatness in a team sport is the ability to win and to lift your teammates and to make people play better when they play with you. And you look at Robbie throughout his career, like numbers, whatever, but like everybody plays better when they play with him. And that to me, winning and that your teammates play better when you're on the floor, you make your teammates better. Like that's the signature of individual greatness if you're playing in a team sport.
Have you subbed before the first media timeout this season?
No, that was
last time?
no, that wasn't. I was gonna move it earlier, like and nothing that happened was like I wasn't mad. We just subbed, and it was we had breakdowns. I mean the first basket we miss a Zoom coverage. We switch late, and we miss the switch, and Robbie doesn't give pass protection. Amari misses a switch, and they get down, lay it in. Second one, we mess up a switch with Q and Amari. Ginyard makes a 3. Third one, I think we were flat in our gap. We miss another one, So I mean, it was short closeout. There was a variety of things, but no, I was going to go to subs earlier. I wanted to get KT and Paul in earlier today, and that was just part of it. Was a way to get them in a little bit earlier and just see. I was going to try to get them some more minutes. It worked out for Paul a little bit more than usual for KT, but not as much. But he could have certainly gone back in there at the end. We just played well down the stretch, so I didn't do it.
Closed with making 15 free throws.
Yeah, that was big time. And Paul made a huge 1-on-1 at both ends. Q made some massive free throws. I mean, he felt like he was up there a lot. Trey made a couple. No, it was really good to see our guys step up, make free throws. Those money time, you got to be able to execute. And part of the execution is closing with free throws, knocking them in. I was proud of that. I was really proud of our defense down the stretch. And, we did a good job. Really, after the first, 4.5 minutes, we actually, if you think about it, 35.5 minutes, they scored, 56 points. It was pretty good defense, but, 20 points in 4.5 minutes is a lot. I think they were 8 for 9, 5 for 5 from 3, and the one shot they missed, they got the offensive rebound and scored anyway. They scored on 9 straight possessions to start the game.
Numbers at the rim haven't been great. A lot of games with low percentage with layups. Teams packing the paint more. Is it bad QB decisions at the rim?
A little bit of everything. Today probably a little bit of both. I thought we had a couple, we had a couple shots blocked that were, had some tough finishes there. Trey missed a wide open layup. Q missed a wide open layup. I'm trying to think the other ones. There was a couple. DB missed a wide open one and a floater. So there was a few. We got to finish better around the rim. It's been a hallmark of our team that we've been able to convert around the rim. Obviously, go 16 for 28. It helps to compensate for not finishing, but we needed to be. That's something that we got to go back to work on and make sure that we're doing the right things, in terms of finishing school, and something to work on every single day going forward.
Teams that seem like they flummox the dribble handoff and a lot of the flow stuff you guys like to get to, especially on the perimeter. Is that just go back to the physicality thing, or is there a way for you guys to kind of find it again?
We got it. Yeah, I thought we did a pretty good job of screening off the ball and like getting the actions, and it's if they're going to play that tight in the perimeter, it opens up driving lanes. I think we got to do a better job of off-ball screening the free guys coming. Like if you look at, now we called them, but like the 2 plays for Trey there where, they're doing that some more naturally. We got to do a better job, be more physical off the ball with our screening, do more sacrificial screening and cutting to open up things. I think there's an invisible nature to winning, right? We talk about that, like you got to love the invisible. If you care about team success, you'll do invisible things and so like us, like that play, like at 79-74, we called an ATO where, Paul, we went and down screen, Trey down screen Paul wrapped him, we called a Bama, wraps and pins back in. And he said a great screen to get Trey separation coming up. Now nobody's going to recognize that Paul did that, doesn't get an assist or anything, but I do, and his teammates do, and everybody that, and we got more guys doing that, to get to 91 today. I thought our transition was good. Obviously our three-point shooting was elite, but our ability to screen and free up and be more physical with our screening, more confrontational with our driving, harder with our cutting, harder with our off-ball screening. Teams are going to really be up, grab, hold, which I was like, that's my point. Like Deion got a holding foul, and I'm like, come on, man. Like, if you're going to call, like, they're holding up. I mean, I get it. He probably was holding, but you're going to call that one of all of them. Yes.
Nice heave by Brady there at the end of late in the first half.
Yeah, that was amazing, right on the shot clock, and just heaves it up and drills it. That was a big time. That was actually a big momentum. I mean, we were able to cut it to 2 at halftime. Yes. Yeah.
I'm a 30-year Pelican fan, and I just want to thank you for bringing this excitement back to us.
Oh, well, thank you.
It's been so exciting, and you have really energized a tremendous amount of people.
Thank you.
And you brought the best out of these players, and I just want to thank you.
That's very kind of you.
For what you've done.
That's thank you very much. I appreciate that. That's very kind.
Coach, I have a question for you.
Sure.
How is sort of being a second half team, how has that impacted your identity? Is that something that you guys have sort of embraced? And are there any sort of adjustments that come second half that aren't maybe in the first half of the year?
I think the second half adjustment thing's a little overrated, but I will say that my halftime speeches are maybe the best in the world, and that's what's happening. And my pregame speeches stink. But halftime, I mean, you got guys crying in there. I mean, they're so emotional. They're so excited, motivated. Guys are tearing up. I mean, they're ready to tear the doors off to run out for the second half. So no, I think, look, if you're going to be, the goal would be to be a 2-half team. If you're going to be one of the halves, you would want to be the second because it gives you the best chance to win. This goes back to the kill shot things too, and I talked about it matters when it happens, right? Context. We want to be a 2-half team. We want to get off to better starts. Do I think the starts have been completely us? No, I think teams have come out and shot the ball incredibly well. I think it was Tom gave me a stat yesterday. It was at 54% in the first half, and 17% from 3 in the second half over the last 4 or 5 games. And today was 5 for 11 and 3 for 13. So to be right in that same vein, right? So teams are shooting 50-some% in the first half and then 17% in the second half. Shooting variance is a part of it. Nobody wants to hear that, but shooting variance is a part of it. I thought today we had too many breakdowns, but again, every breakdown we had, they come out and made us pay, and they get up 12 early. I thought from there we kind of settled in and actually played pretty good basketball. We just had too many breakdowns to get the lead at half. We had a wide open 3 to take the lead at halftime. But our second halves, I think, I think when you're looking at a team, the ability to perform under pressure down the stretch of close games, is a hallmark of really good teams. Because when you get into, playing other good teams, you're in postseason play. If you're fortunate to be in the NCAA tournament, you're going to have to likely, come up with the goods, when it matters most and it's all on the line. And there's 4 minutes to go and it's a tied game or a 2-point game, and like the fact that they closed the game on that 15-2 run. That's a great sign, because in the way we did against VCU, we go up 19, and the fact that these guys in the second half, when it really matters, are able to kind of make the plays and on both ends of the floor and really kind of shut the water off defensively and execute offensively. I think that's a promising sign for a team if it's going to have a chance to to win high level games.
Coach, we all know that Ish is a shooter, great shooter, but he's so much more than that. Could you talk about how he contributed to tonight's win beyond just banging threes?
Yeah, no, Ish does a lot of things. I mean, he's I said he's got a lot of Robbie in him. Where he's just such a smart player and he understands it like a coach, and he plays in a way that he touches the game. He's always in the right place defensively. He's people are really closing him hard, trying to get on the 3-point line. He's starting to drive the ball to the paint and get the ball to the rim and play make a little more because people are closing him so hard. His gravity on the floor pulls defenders away. Guys aren't helping. That's opening up driving lanes for other players. So that's an invisible thing. He and Brady and Trey out there, because they're such great shooters. Defenses are so locked into guarding them that creates incredible space. And then Ish and his shooting range and Trey both. They change the geometry of the court a little bit because people have to guard them so far out that it actually changes the geometry of the court and makes it the spacing for our other players so much better. So there's a ton of areas on both ends of the floor. Ish is a good enough player, whether he's making shots or not. His floor game's always good enough, and his effort level and his urgency and his attention to detail are always good enough. You're going to ride with him.
Anybody else for Coach? Good.
Guys, yeah, he's in me today. Wow, that's good.